You know we had to do a podcast, right?
What's your name, fat body?
Of course, you were looking food. What the hell?
I'm not fat. I'm big boned.
I'm gonna eat it.
You owe me for one jelly donut!
Fat motherfucker.
Listen to it. My wife said no one's gonna listen to us.
I've got bigger titties than you do!
Bullshit, because nobody fucking had geese back at that point for a bigger guy.
I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I might be somebody's shot of whiskey.
You can't think about, hey, I need to lose 100 pounds, and think about winning that day.
Fucking, I want a cheeseburger and a milkshake.
Hey, what's up, Fathletes? And man, thank you for downloading episode 32. I am trying to get back into a normal life. Of the podcast. So let me start the intro. Yes, thank you for or welcome to episode 32 of the podcast. I hope life finds you well. Life has been super hectic for me. I know I started talking about it during the last podcast. We had decided that that living in what was once our home, we outgrew tremendously with the adding of an additional child, and it seemed very, very difficult to live within those means, and we needed to branch out. I think Fort Myers kind of spoiled us in the fact that we were renting such a huge house for not next to nothing, but what we were able to do, and man, it spoiled us to what was possible. So mind you, I knew that this was going to be a possibility in the future. I didn't think it was going to be so close into having moved back in. And let me tell you, most of it was a my thing. I couldn't do. First, the podcast seemed impossible to do. There's never any good spot. There's always someone somewhere, and it's just never right time, or you don't want to do anything because you're gonna make noise, you'll wake up the baby, and I understand. But it just seemed very difficult to do, what I had got used to. Just close the office door, record a podcast, boom. It's a lot harder. I can't set up. I'm recording now directly back into the voice recorder that I use. That's just the digital recorder. That has that function, and I know that the audio quality is a little different, and I like it better when it comes out of the mic, goes through the compressor, and it, to me, that's what I want, and it frustrates me that I can't provide that. So it kind of like it unmotivates me to do it because of the quality. So anyways, we decided to start the process of selling the condo, and it happened where it was like, okay, we're gonna sell. oh wait, there's a couple of check marks things that I haven't finished doing from the remodel that needs to be done. Oh my God, let's hustle our ass and let's get these done. So it was every night, take on another project, and it's actually got me into this. I like doing that stuff. I couldn't exercise that right when I was living in someone else's house in Fort Myers. Like, you can't just build something somewhere or take and change and renovate a room. Shit like I don't like doing, So all that had to be done. Then, man, I used to think when people say, "Oh, selling a house is stressful," yes, it is total first world problems. I understand, yes. But holy crap, is it stressful. First of all, I have to move again. I just did this. I am dreading moving everything, especially those reclining. I wanted reclining couches for a while. And I knew when I was at my heaviest that buying reclining couches was probably not the smartest thing to do, because I knew that this shit's probably made to a certain standard and it's not fat guy approved. So yeah, it's probably do itself all right for a couple of weeks, months. But you start falling asleep on that recliner reclined all the way back, and you're over 350 pounds, and 100 of it's reclined on that back. What's going to start to happen? And that thing's going to come apart. So I never actually liked buying that type of furniture, because that's exactly the thought process I had. This shit's not built for me. So as I started getting lighter, we get these couches, and I love them. They're reclining. Both the love seat is electric reclining. Total laziness factor, right? The funny thing is, I used to like passing out in them, and now I don't even like it. It has gone away, but I still like the couches. I do like reclining, just having my feet up a little bit, but other than that, it's I think I want to say the way I sit now, because the weight difference, it just feels better not to be reclined like that. But anyways, I'm dreading moving that thing, because that thing is heavy as hell. And the love seat can come through the front door, but the other one has to come through the back door. We have this little hallway right at the entrance at the front door, where you either go left or right. I'm sorry, straight or left. Left or right, yeah. You either go straight or left, and there's a wall within, at the hallway wall. So it's 3 feet on either side. So they're cutting big furniture in is next to impossible out of the front door. So you have to all do it through the back door. However, 5 feet from my back door, we have like a 3-foot retaining wall that's kind of actually going to be replaced in a couple of weeks. I think it's going to start, the construction on that's definitely going to start after we move out. But that thing, so now you have to walk back there along a 3-foot retaining wall with a heavy ass couch. I'm not looking forward to that. That really sucks. But last couple of weeks, little by little, packing boxes here in the house and taking them. I rented a storage unit, so that's the first couple weeks we were getting the house ready. Then it was for a month. It was a month. I think it took like three and a half weeks. So for a month it was, hey, someone wants to come see the house at 5:00 or at 5:30. It's like so then you can't really get dinner ready. You don't want to show your house with the smell of whatever cooking is, or look like a mess. So you can't really always cook in your house. So then, and it's every day. You don't know how. At one day, okay, at noon that you're gonna have to do that, so you can plan ahead. But sometimes it's like, hey, they can be there in half an hour, and it's like, shit. You don't want to, like, I want to sell, so I want to make it available to them. If somebody wants to see it, hey, maybe they say this and they want this versus something else. So then you start looking for your house, and shit falls through, and oh my God, it's like I said, total first world problems. I used to kind of mock people who spoke about this, and now I feel like an asshole because I'm living it, and it's difficult. But the silver lining is, at the end of it, I know it's Thanksgiving pants. At the end of this, it's that feeling you get Thanksgiving dinner, and you just unbuckle the pants and kind of like let the zipper go a little bit. Just that's what it's gonna be like, So then, and within this time too, my mother-in-law, if you guys remember, she was practically our living, and I was loving life. I had it very easy. And she went back home, and that was a game changer for me. It definitely took me out of jiu-jitsu completely. Now with having to be the ride, my wife can take the baby, drop the baby off later, but I have to take Uriah to school because there's no way I can go to jiu-jitsu, and then, lollygag, go to work, while she has to get the baby ready, take Uriah to school, come get the baby. It would be too unfair. So there's no way that would fly. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. So jiu-jitsu had to go on the back burner, and then work has its own problems where it's kind of dying down now, but for the last month and a half, it's been, close to 50, 60-hour work weeks because just the demand has been high. I'm sitting in front of a computer all day because that's what I do for 9, 10, 11 hours. The last thing you want to do is just decompress. So it wasn't that, like I said, that brought its own problems. But even through all that, like, it's been one of the most stressful times, and I think there's no excuse for like making you guys hang on, because I was giving you guys a podcast practically every week, and I was trying to be fairly consistent with that. And I do want to build a fan base, and I do want to help people get on keto or just find their thing. I'm just an advocate of keto because of how amazing it's changed my life completely. And there's no better proof than what I'm living right now. There has never been a time in my life where I have been least physically active, but yet in the best physical condition I've ever been. back when before we moved to Fort Myers and I was in my groove of training Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6:30 in the morning jiu-jitsu, then picking up Uriah, taking him to kids jiu-jitsu, teaching kids jiu-jitsu, and doing the adult class, and coming home, doing that 2 nights a week, sometime, and then a Saturday. Even doing that, I was teetering 340, and I thought I was amazing. I was like, but I definitely I always felt hungry. Definitely was always tired. I'm tired right now too, but so I know how I felt during that time, and I know how I feel now. So keto it's an easy decision for me. I'm like, well, I feel fucking amazing. I'm going to stay feeling this way. And I think that's what helps. That's what makes it, for me, feel like easy to do the no cheat meals. I think I've lost count. Is it 32 weeks? 32 or 33 weeks without a cheat meal. September 22nd. I'm not gonna count that right now. I think it's either 30 or 32 weeks without a cheat. And I know, I skipped one in between. It's the over under. I don't know, maybe 31. Okay, so say 31 weeks without a cheat meal. It's gotten to the point where I'm like, it's not even hard not to cheat. I'm looking for the food to cheat for. And I look, so we had cupcakes, my wife had cupcakes in the house. So I guess we had them in the house, but she had them in the house. Her mom, and my son were eating cupcakes. And I look at them and I go, man. And she goes, they're not even that good. I go, I know. I go, they smell good, but I've been able to attach such a negative feeling to how, a shitty carb diet makes me feel, to where it's so easy just to stay the course. And I know it gets difficult, and it feels like I don't even remember when it happened. I know when it first started, it was, man, it felt so hard. It felt so hard. It felt so hard. And it's like, now I'm here. And I don't remember when the switch was. But I do remember that when I first started keto, what would help me was fat bombs. Because fat bombs gave me that feeling, oh man, this is something you can treat yourself to, and it's totally guilt-free. And I would like to make them, and they're a little pain in the butt to make. But it's something new, because you don't really, the way I was making it was, 2 cups of coconut oil, then I was using almond butter, and I would use a little bit of peanut butter. I would advise more against the peanut butter now, even though it was a natural one, but when I first started, I was using that, and then, stevia. Just put it in the fridge. I would call it the Fat Boy Fudge, and I would love that. And that helped me through. And I just kind of stopped making them because it's a pain in the butt. The keto pizza, though, is the one thing that that and the bulletproof coffee in the mornings. I've gotten to love to make those 2 things to where it's made keto for me very, very streamlined. It's my go-to. Man, what I'm going to eat today? You know what? Boom. I make a pizza. Always have some pepperoni. And then I try to do different things like if we have steak left over from the night before, whatever, toss that on there. My wife surprised me on Saturday, and she made an awesome white pizza. And all she did was she like sauteed some garlic with some chicken in a pan. Reduced some heavy cream, Parmesan cheese, and some cream cheese. Made that into like a sauce, basically. Yeah, she made it a sauce, and then just sauced that a pizza with it, and then put chicken. Boom, that was killer. So, you know, all that stuff makes keto for me just real easy, and I think that's why I have people who ask me, you know, how is it so hard, you know, and they tell me how much trouble they have trying to start, and they ask why it's so easy for me, and I think it's just because of that. I've made it. I learned how I feel on it, but here's the thing: some of those benefits you only start to see them a week, 2 weeks into being. Or at least I didn't feel them until I was, 2 or 3 weeks into being keto. So it's not you have to wait for sometimes for this process, or you have to wait out the process, because it happens. It feels like it's so slow, but you got to remember, man, you didn't blow up overnight. So it took some time. Now, I've been rambling on, but so I've been able to keep my focus on my diet, and while and all these other stressful situations have been thrown at me, and I'm not working out, so I'm not really releasing anything. But I think that's why. 100%. That's why the podcast has kind of fallen to the wayside, and I have to apologize about that. But I feel like I'm getting the grasp of everything again, so I'm able to add this back in. And yes, while I have to understand that it's not my little studio I had in the office with my boom microphone and the ability to Skype anybody. It's going to be, hey, down and dirty, get your recorder, boom, record it, put it out there. So, and actually, I wanted to do this last week. However, last week, I kind of involuntarily dropped below 250, and I had to wait a couple of days to confirm it. But I had got some stomach bug and I'm so proud of myself that even through this, I was able to stay keto. I couldn't keep anything down or in. It was very painful. I was forced to do kind of like, 3 2-day fasts. And I was just bone broth, and like 3 tablespoons of salt, bone broth, drinking just bone broth like it was tea. And I probably went through maybe 3 or 4 of those packets of bone broth, maybe more. I was drinking them like crazy to replenish just electrolytes, and with the salt, and just drinking water. And I was able to kind of nurse myself back to life. It was a crazy stomach bug. It went, it only hit me. It seemed one day like the baby had it, and it was gone. So thankfully, she didn't get it. But so then I had to wait, because I wanted to make sure that going under 250 was actual going under 250 or that. But no, 100%. I'm physically under 250. It's been, I want to say, somebody asked me about how they should feel. They've lost 30 pounds in starting keto. And they started in February. They lost 30 pounds. But the last 2 weeks, they haven't lost a pound. What's going on? First off, if you started keto in February and you have lost 30 pounds until now, that is a huge success. You have lost damn near 10 pounds a month consistently. That's awesome. That's amazing. You, sir, have won. You, madam, have won. You know, just maintain. There's no, and I know, because I was at the longest stretch of a plateau that I've been since I started keto. And I was struggling with starting, and I brought it up before that I wanted to do longer fasts. And I kind of, in a way, I secretly kind of enjoyed having that stomach thing because it forced me into those longer fasting periods. And I know, I broke twice, but I think if I broke just because I wanted to be weak, I think I could have extended those, and it might have been 3 or 2 3-day fasts instead of 3 2-day fasts. So also the big news is I am now an official brand ambassador of Perfect Keto keto products. If you don't know about the Perfect Keto brand, they are a brand of they have exogenous ketones, MCT powder, collagen powder, all keto friendly products that are amazing. I've used their products before. I jumped on board with them. I actually wanted to jump on board because I enjoy using their products. In my bulletproof coffee a day, I don't use a full scoop. I don't feel I need to. However, I have not backed this by a ketone strips, which I need to. But I feel that I've doing, since I do so little carbs, that I can use like half a scoop of the keto base in my coffee, and I just do it for that. Whether I'm not using the product recommended, I actually like it that way. And if the first time you're going to use it, use a little bit anyways. That's a product you want to work up into. Kind of, it's similar to, the best way I can explain is similar to a pre-workout, but don't consider it a pre-workout. You can use it to that. It will kind of help kickstart your body's production of your own ketone bodies. So I've joined on board with them. If you are interested in their products, you can go to my website, fatboybjj.com, and up in the navigation bar, you'll see Perfect Keto. Click on that link. I get a little commission for sending you guys there. So if you guys can go there, and if you like the product, check it out. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I read the other day there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So tell them you like your products, or take the product if you like it. If no, you don't, get your money back. And since I stopped doing the jiu-jitsu, since the mother-in-law left, what I had started doing was wow, I'm a little tired right now. What I started doing was taking my dog for like 1.2 mile little walks, and I wasn't real consistent. I did it probably 3 to 4 times a week, and Saturday it hit me. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing this all wrong. I'm kind of like, man, I gotta take this damn dog on this walk now, because mind you, I have a 7-pound Yorkie, so, well, I'm not that big of a dude anymore, but I'm still kind of a big dude walking this little 7-pound Yorkie. and he is loving these mile-long walks. He has got used to them to where I can tell when he hasn't been on his walk because of how hyper he is. Plus, I can also tell because I'm the only one that takes him. But he gets really hyper if you miss a day. So I've been trying to, you know what, Saturday, I said, I'm going to, 100%, I'm going to be all in every day. I'm going to take him. Tonight was raining. I actually waited till the rain stopped to take him. So I take him on this walk. And same thing on Saturday. I said, you know what? I've been just dragging in on this walk, and, I haven't been taking it serious. I need to take it serious. Not only am I going to do it every day, but I'm going to make it a little bit of workout. And this stems from even further back. For the last, I want to say, since I moved back to Orlando, I've been saying, I want to do like those 30-day squat challenges, right? And I want to do 100 squats for 30 days just because I want to see the difference in your quads. And if you look at some people's difference, it's, incredible. You're like, oh shit, you can see the quad definition. I want to do it. I want to do it for, just body weight squats too. It's just another workout, right? So I've been, I want to do it. And I don't find the time because I caught on to myself. If I take a shower, get downstairs, do my coffee, take the kid out, go to school, take him to school, go to work, come back home, take the dog for a walk. If it's by the time I get back in the house, if it's not done, it won't get done. So I caught on, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. So now during the walk, I'm going to break it up to every intersection, which by the time when I turn around, I think it's when I turn around and I pass when I pass that first intersection, I'm done with the 100 squats. So I get to the intersection, bam, 10 squats. Next intersection, bam, 10 squats. So I've been doing that since Saturday, and my legs are killing me, which is kind of sad because that tells you I haven't been really doing much. So I'm actually interested to see what happens in a couple weeks. The only couple weeks I have left here, because just a little experiment. Since I know I'm not actively working out, something to kind of say, okay, well, yeah, you may not be able to do this, but here's something that you can do in the meantime. So, guys, that's the podcast. I promise I'm going to come back. I'm not going to wait 8 weeks to record another podcast. I will be back within the week. Love you guys. Thank you for downloading. Check out the website, www.fatboybjj.com. Click that Perfect Keto link if you want to look at the keto products, if you want to learn more about them. I'm going to do another podcast talking more about the BHBs, all right? Take it easy. Peace.